Hello and welcome to this tutorial. My name is Norgent and today we try to make sparks. So let's delete the cube first and add an icosphere. We can set the number of faces or the subdivisions to 1 because our object doesn't need to have too many faces. And we can directly go down to this tab, it's the particle system tab, and add the particle system by clicking on the plus. Now I will, in our case, I will put the number of particles that are going to be emitted down to 100, because for sparks we don't really need that many, and put the frame to 10, and the end frame also to 10. This lets all the particles emit at one time, at the same time, and the lifetime I'm going to put on 120, so our particles will live for 120 frames. Our source we are going to put on volume. This will let all of the particles emit from the center. And let me just quickly move our icosphere up and let's scale it a little bit down. Just for us to not notice it anymore that much. So the next part is to select an object that we are going to have as our particle. So let us change this tab to object, and now let us put in another icosphere. Let's leave it at 1 subdivision because we are going to have multiple little particles, and it would be too much to handle at times. Maybe not for our case, but if you have like 1000 particles, you don't really want them to have that many faces, especially when they are this small. And we can instantly select this object, and we can take a look first of all. Your animation should look like something like this, all particles emitting at the same time. And we can take a little check if we did everything right so far. Your animation should look something like this. So the next thing I'm going to edit is a floor, just quickly in between, scale it a little bit up, and now give this floor a collision. So we go to this tab here, Physics and Properties, and click on Collision, and instantly have a collision activated. So we are going to edit this later on, and first of all going to master our particle system. So I believe 120 is maybe a bit long for a particle system of our kind. So we turn it down to 50 again. And this scale should also be a little bit smaller, I believe 0.01. Now back to the collision system. As we see, our particles drop, but they bounce right back. So we need to edit something called stickiness, and this makes our particles stick a little bit more to the ground. Let's put it up first of all to a 4 and see how this goes. Yeah, roundabout like this. Our particles should still be a little bit jumpy, but they shouldn't be too jumpy. So maybe a 5 is enough. Yeah, I would say 5 is pretty good. So the next thing we are going to edit is friction, because now our particles are kind of sliding along the ground, and they are doing this a bit too much. Kind of looks like ice. So what we are going to do is to turn this a little bit up. I believe a 0.2 might be enough. Let's see. Yes, maybe a little bit lesser, 1.5. 0.15, sorry. Yeah, I believe this is first of all enough. So the next thing we are going to do is to go to our textures. Now I want to make the particles disappear slowly, because if we look at our animation right now, the particles are still there and just pop away. So we can randomize a little bit the lifetime by like 0.1. This already would make it look a little bit more realistic that our particles don't disappear all at once, but at random times. Some have a shorter lifetime through this and others a longer one. So in our texture tab, we are now going to add a texture. And this texture will make our particles a little bit smaller and smaller until they are gone. So it looks like they're fading out. We are going to tap on this button right here. And this will lead us to the tab where we can edit our texture. You can also just click down below. And what I want is a blend texture. And I'm going to click right here and put this on stranded particles. And the next thing we are going to do is to click right on influence. And now it's on general time right now. But we're going to take this off general time and put it on size. And then down below on the colors tab, we're going to add a color ramp and make these two sides now the opposite of one another. So the black one goes to white and the white one goes to black. And this should make our particles smaller and smaller until they disappear. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, you couldn't really see that right now. Let's make the particles a little bit bigger. 0.3. Now you should maybe see it. Yes. So, as you can see, our particles now fade out instead of just disappear. And this is like the general point right now. We are almost done with our full-on animation. Now we kind of have to copy and paste. And one mistake I didn't really know that there was this button right here. So I added a new particle system, copied all of the numbers and did this over and over 5 times. But you can kind of copy your particle system that we already made and place it in for every other particle system we are about to make. So we still have to press on the plus icon. So what we have to do is to click on this button now, new particle system settings, and this will copy all of the numbers that we just added to this particle system right here with the 1 on it. And now we can tweak the numbers that we actually want to tweak and don't have to replace every single digit with ORs that we already did. So here I'm going to put this one on a 20. And then we are going to do the same thing again. We can just straight up copy it 5 times. So we have 5 different particle systems where all the numbers are the same, but the ones that we actually want to change, we can change. This one I'm going to put on a 60 maybe. And this one on a 100 as a starting frame. And the last one, I want to have like sparks coming for a longer time. Not just one outburst, but more like a little one that stretches out for multiple frames. So I'm going to have this one start at 102. So we have this outburst of the other particle system that starts at 100, but also this one, and let it end at 140. And let's have a look. Yeah, and I actually forgot. We need to add some more particle systems. So we right now have all of the particle systems right here, but we don't really have instances that execute the particle system. So we need to click actually 5 times on this one and change these to our particle systems that we just made. So this one gets this one right here. We change this one back to this. So we need to change our first particle system back to this one. The second one right here gets this particle system. So all get the particle system according to their number. Our third one, the third. The fourth one, the fourth. So, and now it should work. Maybe we can scale our emitter a little bit down. Let's see another time. this should be nice. So one thing that I forgot again is I made it for a purpose right now of showing you, but we need to edit the scale again because our particles are quite big right now. Let's see, 0.2. 0.2 should be fine. Yeah, I'm just quickly going to do this for all the other particle systems. So the next thing that we are going to do is to first of all turn the emitter off, that it's not being shown anymore, so that we don't have it visible. That's now for the render tab, but we also want it for the viewport right here. And now it's turned off for the whole animation. And let's move on to maybe model something that emits the sparks. I would make like a barbed wire. I would make like a cut-off wire or a broken wire. Let's go into. I press 7, so you can see it from a top view. Let's just move our little vertices like this kind of. Press 1 to go in this mode, to maybe have it a little bit more 3-dimensional than just 2-dimensional. Roundabout like this, I would say. And let's turn it on the y-axis, move it a little bit up, and all of this a bit down again. Now this is our curve, and this is a curve, so we can edit it in the curve tab and give it some geometry in the depth part of it, kind of this thick, I would say, and fill the gaps so that this little hole right here isn't empty. Yeah. So a little bit higher, like this. Right. And now to make this a little bit more, nicer looking, we can edit the randomize tab in the velocity tab. So we scale it a little bit up. Let's say also here a 0.4, and let's just edit this quickly to all of our particle systems. Sorry for just saying it now. Forgot it again. And this will make our velocity kind of random more, so that as we saw just now, that our particles don't really take the shape of the sphere, but more random. So it should look something like this, and this looks way, way, way better. So I would say now we can move on to texturing maybe. It's just a brief texturing, so I'm not going to go all extravagant on it. Go to the shading tab and let's add a shade for you. Make it like, let's say, just a gray. And you are wire, so you get just black, pure black. And for our sparks, we need to edit this object right here. Let's delete the principle and edit an emission. Right, put it into the surface and give it something like an orange color, like this. Put the strength on maybe a 10. 10. Yeah, more like a 5. 5 should be alright. Maybe a 3 is even better. And now let's get back to our layout tab and press 3. Put in a camera. Move it a little back. Press 0. And now let's place the camera where we kind of want it. Yeah, something like this. Put in a light, a point light, I would say. Put it a little bit up. go into the render tab so we can see also a light doing something. And 200 should be more like 400. Let's make it some kind of fancier color, like this light blue, and maybe Shift D and edit another light in. Let's see how it looks with like a greener color. Yeah, I kind of like this. And now that we did this, we can edit our plane, but before that we need to edit a scale quickly. Copy the Y and put it into the Z. Otherwise our bevel is not really going to work. Extrude the back right here. Now select this edge again, press Ctrl B, and let's bevel this a little bit. This, smooth or plane out, and scale it a little bit up so we have a smoother background. And let's put this, select all besides this face, a little bit back, something like this, and scale it on the Y again. Yeah, this should be nice. And I think our wire looks a little bit too thick, so let's thin it out. Maybe even pull it a little bit down. And the camera a little bit up. That the distance should be now a little bit nice. And now we need to edit some more things in our camera settings. Right here, render properties. Not camera settings, but render properties. We turn on bloom. This will make our sparks look a little bit nicer, as well as the motion blur. This will make our sparks look more like a line rather than a sphere when they are moving. You can see it actually in the render tab right now. A little bit more like a line. Not completely, but a little bit more like it. It makes them look quite nice in my opinion. And we can actually tweak a lot more things, like screen space reflection we can put in. Makes our reflections look a little bit nicer. I'm also doing this in Eevee, not in Cycles, because of my computer. It wouldn't really work when I want to show you the render. I could render it later on, but if I want to show you it right now in the viewport, I can't really do it. Then another thing would maybe be color management. There we can, here where right now is Filmic, in View Transform, we can put on Standard, or actually let's leave it on Filmic, it looks better. But on Look, in the Looks tab, you can right here choose the contrast you want to have. I like high medium, I believe it's quite nice. Yeah, high medium should be good, or medium high. And use curve, you can kind of adjust how the lighting is. I believe it's good to put this one maybe up and this one a little bit down. A little bit more. Maybe it was also the opposite. More like this, I would say. Yeah, this should be fine. And if you actually want to render your animation, you go down here and choose a folder. And if you want to actually render your animation, you go down to this tab, Output Properties, and choose a folder. And after you choose a folder, you can choose the file format. PNG is kind of worth it at times when you have like a little interruption in your render or something that doesn't look right in one frame. You don't have to redo the whole render again. You can just exchange this one picture with the one frame. You can later on render this one exact frame another time and put it in your video editing software. But just for this video, I'm going to choose MP4, especially because it's a short render that we have that isn't going to take as long to render. But when you have longer renders, you probably want to make a PNG because of this issue that can occur. And to now render it, you just have to press Ctrl F12, and there we have to find a product. Thank you for watching, and maybe you can leave some feedback in the comments, maybe a like if you liked the video, and I would really appreciate it. And yeah, see you next one. Bye.